This 4-trick combo can loop infinitely, but what's even better is you can add it into any of your combos right after learning it. Even more importantly, by learning how the 4 separate tricks come together seamlessly to create one fluid combo, you can apply those principles to your other tricks you already know to create flowy combos of your own and develop your own unique style. I'll cover all of that after I show you how to do the combo, so let's get right into it. This combo consists of 4 different tricks. They are the whip rollover, the chaplain, the full twirl, and the cherry picker. Now for this tutorial, I'm going to assume that you know how to do those 4 tricks already. Now if you need help with the whip rollover, I did make a full tutorial on it, which you can check out here. And for the other 3 tricks, you can just search on YouTube. There's plenty of tutorials. Now for the breakdown of the combo. So to start this combo off, you're going to start with a whip rollover, and it has to be from the safe handle. You're going to throw that whip rollover, but instead of catching it with the handle open like you normally would, you're going to just pinch it between your index and your thumb. Just like that. Now from this position, you go right into the chaplain. Because you're going right into the chaplain, you're going to make sure that you're doing that pinch right at the pivot area so that your index is already nested right where it needs to be for that chaplain. If you've never done this type of movement before, you're going to want to just basically throw that whip and catch it. And then once it stops, you can go right into the chaplain. That'll kind of like help you get the muscle memory down for kind of what it feels like. And then once you can do that with a brief pause, like that, then you're going to want to try and do it without pausing. And just the more you practice it, the easier it'll become. So don't be worried if when you first try it, it looks like that and it feels really awkward. If you keep working on it, you'll get it down. And once you do that chaplain, you're just going to do 1 rotation and stop with your middle finger, just like that. Now when you're practicing this, if you need to, you can do multiple chaplains, kind of slow it down to find the timing of when to insert your middle finger like that. But when I like to do this combo, normally I just do 1 partial chaplain just like that. Once you stop it with your middle finger, you're then going to go into the first half of the full twirl. But instead of doing it vertically like that, you're actually going to be doing it with your palm facing down, which is the 0G version. Now something to note is you're going to be transitioning from that chaplain to the 0G full twirl. Pretty much right when I stop the chaplain is when I initiate that transition. And so it looks like that, to where you throw the chaplain, you stop, rotate your hand so your palm is facing down, and then throw the full twirl. And it happens pretty quick, and you want to make that nice and fluid, but that's kind of how you can think about it. Now technically you could do this part without doing the 0G twirl and do it vertically instead, but then you're throwing the cherry picker like that. And personally, I don't think it looks as cool, nor does it feel as natural. But if doing the 0G full twirl is not something you can do yet, you can kind of work on that and just kind of decrease the angle as you go until you are doing it. And starting in from the ending of the 0G twirl, just to walk through that cherry picker motion, basically what you're going to do is, so you're going to be in this position for the 0G twirl. And you're just going to drop down your index just like that. And you're going to lift up with your ring finger. And of course, you're going to be using the momentum that the balisong is going to have, and it's going to be spinning around. And as it's spinning around, you're going to really just reach your index finger underneath the balisong. And when you get to this position, like I'm squeezing between my fingers right now, but if I let go, it's going to fall down just like that, which is okay, because what you're going to do is you're going to be really, as you're doing this transition, you're not going to squeeze super hard. You're going to let the balisong slide between your fingers, and you're going to raise your hand up. And so as you transfer from here to here and reach your finger under and move it up, the balisong will slide between your fingers and you'll be in this position. You're going to want to tuck these 2 fingers away, and then you can throw it into that kind of motion. So from this position, it's going to look like that. Once you throw it around, just as you saw, you're just going to wrap your finger over, just like you're going right into another whip roll, which you can do to then close it. Or, of course, you can go right into the chaplain, full twirl, and cherry picker, and just keep looping all of those tricks just like so. And so that's basically the whole combo. Now, the cool thing about this combo is because not only is it looping, but it starts with that whip rollover, and then it ends in that same exact position right there with that whip rollover. So if you think about it, anytime you're doing a whip rollover in a combo, let's say you're doing this combo, you can just insert the combo we just learned right in the place of the whip rollover. And so it would look like this. Kind of mess it up there at the end, but there you go. And so anytime you would throw just the regular whip rollover in your combo, you can just throw in that longer combo. Instead, just make sure that you're throwing the whip rollover from the safe handle and you'll be okay. And as I mentioned in the whip rollover tutorial, the whip roll, it's just such an easy trick to throw in any combos. The fact that it starts on a whip rollover and ends on a whip rollover just makes it really easy to insert it into any combos as you're freestyling. Now, having that short combo easily available to just add into your freestyles or combos as you're making them is really cool. I think what is even more important, as I mentioned in the intro, is what this combo teaches you about making combos, about really just combining tricks together. So the first thing that we learned that I want to point out is when you're combining tricks together, sometimes you can be thinking like, okay, if I know the whip rollover, which is that, and then I want to combine it to another trick, I'm going to start the whip rollover and then finish it, and then where do I go from here? Or maybe right before I close the balisong, I'll go into another trick or something. But as you notice, all of these tricks are really cut short. You have the whip rollover, which you catch it in a different way to go right into the chaplain. And then instead of doing multiple rotations, you just do one rotation, stop it. And then you have the twirl, which you're only doing half of the twirl, and then just this portion of the cherry picker. And so as you're really like stitching these tricks together, you want to think when you're trying to make your own combos and you're trying to combine different tricks, try and think about different points in the trick and when you can go into something else. For example, with the behind the 8-ball, there's so many different opportunities to switch it up and go to something else. You can say you could stop it here and think, okay, where do I want to go after the 0G chaplain? Maybe I'll stop it and go into like an underhand fan. Or you throw it to the thumb chaplain. You're like, where can I go from the thumb chaplain? Maybe I'll drop it down and do that kind of like spine grab. Or maybe I'll go and then on the thumb roll, I'll do something else, you know? And so it's just that kind of idea of when you're combining tricks, and I really like that term, stitching tricks together, because it kind of reminds me of like some kind of Frankenstein or like quilt thing where you're just cutting off different pieces and then combining them together to create something totally new. So that's something to keep in mind as you create your own combos. Now, the second thing that we learned is that sometimes when you're stitching two tricks together, it can take some practice to be able to do it smoothly. So if you come up with some cool idea, but it just doesn't feel very natural or it doesn't look very flowy, don't give up on it yet. Keep working on it, keep refining it, and try and make it into something that is fluid and usable. And the example is with the rip rollover into chaplain. I feel like that is, when I like first did it, it's a move that it can take some time to get down right. You know, it might end up looking like this when you first start, or maybe even you have to like throw it and then catch it and then go. And you might think, oh, that doesn't look very cool at all. But when you get it down, it feels super natural and looks really cool. And so that's just something to keep in mind as you're combining tricks. Don't give up too quickly. Keep working on it and be intentional and focus on what doesn't look right. How can I fix that? And lastly, the third thing we notice from this combo is that sometimes you have to rotate your hand in a different way to make tricks work a little bit better, or for it to flow better, or to go into different options. And with that, as we do the twirl, you can do the full twirl like this and then go into the cherry picker. But that's honestly, I mean, it doesn't feel as cool and it doesn't look as good, I don't think. And so, yeah, technically, I mean, I guess this wouldn't be a full twirl, it'd be a 0G full twirl. But I mean, it's the same exact movement. You're just literally just rotating your hand. Obviously, it takes a little bit more to get used to gripping it like that. And, you know, you could move your hand up, but you get the picture. Basically, when you're trying to come up with combos, just mess around with rotating your hand in different positions. Try and do the trick vertical or horizontal or 0G or whatever. I find that can lead to some really cool options, as we learned with this little combo. And now that you know the whip rollover combo, I actually have a 3-trick combo like that, which is based around the shortstop, which is a perfect candidate to try out inserting the whip rollover combo into another combo, and you create that combo right there. So you should go watch this tutorial video right here where you can learn the shortstop combo, and then let me know how it goes combining them together. Thanks for watching.